Hey guys, what's going on? It's RJ Game News USA here, back today with another video. And today we're going to discuss the movie review scores for Mortal Kombat 2. So if you like this kind of content, support by liking the video, sharing, or subscribing. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So Mortal Kombat 2 got a 77% on Rotten Tomatoes as of the time of this recording. The movie comes out Friday, May 8th. It's an hour and 56 minutes long. Obviously, it's a sequel to the first Mortal Kombat. And 77%, not a bad score. Now, this is actually a much better score from the critics this time around, because the first movie 5 years ago got a 55%. And the audience score was an 85. So the critic score is now a 77 for the sequel, and I'm guessing the audience score is going to be low 90s, if I had to guess. But without further ado, let's run through some of these reviews and see what the critics are saying. Megan Navarro with a fresh tomato says, with the stage setting and character introductions mostly out of the way, returning director Simon McQuoid cuts right to the pulpy, gory chase, has Earthrealm and Outworld champions scramble to prepare for a barrage of lethal battles and fan service. Now, see, this sounds like a review that understands what the movie is trying to do and what it's trying to go for, and appreciates it. Okay? We needed more of these kind of reviews for the Mario movie, or the Michael Jackson movie, right? We have Sebastian Zaslav Khan with a fresh tomato, saying, while not a masterpiece, it takes into account the criticisms of the first installment and develops into a narrative that at times emotional, at others aggressively fun, and overall more coherent than expected. That's good. We have a fresh tomato from Shabazz Sequid, who says, Mortal Kombat 2 pulls its punches when it matters most, but seeing these characters on screen is still a total blast. It's pure arcade energy and features a Liu Kang fight that absolutely rips. A messy ride for sure, but the fan service carries it. Again, can't help but think about the Mario movie and the Michael Jackson movie. Why couldn't more reviewers take that approach and just appreciate the fan service? Ruben Parata Rigard with a fresh tomato, saying Mortal Kombat 2 is more complete than its predecessor and more confident in what it wants to be, but it fails to strike a balance between spectacle and narrative. Ruben Romero Santos with a fresh tomato says Carl Urban is Johnny Cage in this new film based on the legendary martial arts game, which appeals to both nostalgic fans and newcomers. Then we have Jeremy Jans with a fresh tomato, saying this is a Mortal Kombat film for Mortal Kombat fans. Simon Abrams with a fresh tomato says it makes good on its grisly promise whenever its meat puppet protagonists stop talking and start pummeling each other. I wouldn't say that's a fully fresh tomato. Jack Martin with a fresh tomato says the filmmakers are simply a couple of kids in a sandbox playing with their mini action figures, and this is the delightful result that comes from a clear place of passion and admiration for the characters and the wacky worlds they inhabit. Nice. Nicely worded review. We have our first Rotten Tomato of the day. Christian Toto with a Rotten Tomato says Carl Urban brings attitude to Disney display of a video game fighting and plot chaos. Not a horrible review, though, even for a Rotten Tomato. Christian Baker with a fresh tomato says Mortal Kombat 2 does precisely what a film based on the series should do best, which is provide staggering martial arts action and stomach-flipping gore set against the backdrop of a plot that is monumentally dumb and nonetheless entertaining. Andrea Zamora, with a fresh tomato, says Mortal Kombat 2 works, but only in fits and starts. The fights, the film's raison d'etre, are poorly integrated into the story. It's like a shoddy DIY project. Well, yeah, that seemed like the harshest review yet, but it was still labeled a fresh tomato. Breeze Riley, with a fresh tomato, says, although a significant improvement over the first film, the same fan service that makes the film more enjoyable for game lovers also makes it less likely to connect with the broader audience. Then we have a Rotten Tomato by Courtney Howard, who says, with an overabundance of characters and barely enough interest in properly developing them, in addition to a thoroughly contrived narrative that puts its dumb, dense plot above action and spectacle, the kicks and punches fail to land. Seems like a minority opinion, but it's a fair opinion nonetheless. We have a fresh tomato from Rachel Leishman, who says, a whole lot of fun, and a reminder that sometimes movies are meant to simply give us a break from the world and bring us joy through the chaos. I'll say this, movies that aren't meant to be taken super serious, I feel like, myself included, if we go in with the right mindset, we usually like them. If we go in with the wrong mindset, we usually don't like them. And that's just the truth. Sometimes it's our own mindset, right? Edward Douglas, with a fresh tomato, says Mortal Kombat 2 is better than the previous movie, while still suffering from some of the same general problems, particularly the ridiculous number of characters that are impossible to keep track of. Yeah, that has been a recurring criticism. There's too many characters. They could have went more down to basics, right? Brian Orndorff, with a fresh tomato, says Mortal Kombat 2 offers no noticeable creative gains in screenwriting, but it remains an entertaining endeavor, returning to the violence of it all with a more capable lead actor in Carl Urban. Casey Chong, with a fresh tomato, says a bloodier, better sequel from Simon McQuaid. Fico Cangiano, with a fresh tomato, says, Toasty, what the 2021 film should have been. By far the best Mortal Kombat movie adaptation to date. An improvement in all areas, action, blood, story, and humor. Flawless victory? No. But a well-earned victory nonetheless. That seems like the most positive review I've heard so far. And we have another fresh tomato from Aiden Kelly, who says, once the second half gets going, it becomes a bloody good time and a bone-crunching spectacle from start to finish. And finally, Zach Pope, who I do watch his YouTube channel, Zach Pope on here on Rotten Tomatoes, says, brutally unapologetic, non-stop fatalities, gloriously cheesy one-liners, and Easter eggs packed in every corner. Add in a standout katana and a scene-stealing Johnny Cage, and you've got an absolute blast from start to finish. Super video game movie here. Okay, so that's the first page of the Rotten Tomatoes scores. I highly suggest, if you are a Mortal Kombat fan at all, you go see this movie. Personally, I didn't watch the first one, so I don't have business watching the second one. I know it sounds crazy. RJ, why aren't you going to watch it? Well, I'm excited for the Street Fighter movie because, little as you guys know, I've always was a Street Fighter kid over Mortal Kombat. Sorry, sad but true. I did enjoy, I believe it was Mortal Kombat 11 when I played that. Really loved it. I've somewhat enjoyed the series, but not enough to go see it in theaters. But please, by all means, if any of you see this in theaters, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I will check it out. But until next time, this is your boy RJ signing out. Peace. Have a good one.